The Great Hall of the Galaxy Council stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystal floor. 847 different alien species had their representatives sitting in floating chairs that moved slowly around the massive circular chamber. Each chair glowed with the colors of their homeworlds. At the center of the hall stood Supreme Chancellor Vexstar. His blue skin had dark stripes that showed his anger. His forearms waved as he spoke to the gathered aliens. Fellow beings of the galaxy, Vexstar said in a voice that echoed through translation devices. We have a problem, a big problem. The alien representatives leaned forward in their chairs. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and a few looked like walking rocks, but they all shared the same worried expression. The humans, Vexstar continued, have been expanding into our space for 6 months now. They have built colonies on 17 worlds. These worlds were marked as Council territory. The humans did not ask permission, they just moved in. A delegate with 6 eyes raised one of his hands. Supreme Chancellor, did they not receive our standard territorial warnings? They did, Vexstar replied. We sent the usual messages about claim space and proper procedures. Do you know what they did with our messages? The hall became quiet. Even the humming of the translation devices seemed to stop. They sent back a form letter, Vexstar said. A form letter. It thanked us for our interest and told us to contact their Colonial Affairs Department if we wanted to file a complaint. Shocked gasps filled the hall. Several delegates started talking at once. This had never happened before. No new species had ever ignored council warnings. Diplomat Zethra, a tall being with silver skin, stood up from her chair. Supreme Chancellor, perhaps they do not understand our authority. They are new to space travel. Maybe they need education about how the galaxy works. War Master Quindal, a large creature covered in armor plates, made a growling sound. Or maybe they need to learn respect through fear. One demonstration of our power should make them understand. Vexstar raised all 4 of his arms for silence. We will start with Protocol 3, a formal warning. Zethra, you will deliver this message personally. Make sure they understand the seriousness of their situation. What should the message say? Zethra asked. Tell them they have violated sacred territorial boundaries. Tell them they must stop expanding immediately. Tell them that the Council's patience has limits. Vexstar's stripes grew darker. And tell them that continued violations will bring consequences they cannot imagine. 2 days later, Ambassador Haijin Song sat in her small office on Earth's orbital station. She had been working through lunch again, so she heated up a cup of instant ramen in the microwave. The hot soup smelled good after a long morning of reading trade reports. Her computer made a soft beeping sound. A new message had arrived through the deep space communication array. The sender was listed as Galaxy Council Official Business. Haijin took a sip of her ramen and opened the message. A holographic image appeared above her desk. It showed Diplomat Zethra standing in what looked like a very fancy room. Greetings, human representatives, the silver-skinned alien said. I am Diplomat Zethra of the Galaxy Council. I bring you an official warning from the supreme authority of this galaxy. Haijin ate another spoonful of noodles while listening. Your species has violated 17 sacred territorial boundaries, Zethra continued. These violations show dangerous ignorance of galactic law and custom. The Galaxy Council commands you to stop all expansion activities immediately. The alien's expression became more serious. The Council has ruled over this galaxy for 10,000 years. We have brought peace and order to 847 civilizations. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. Zethra stepped closer to the camera. You have 7 standard days to acknowledge this warning and begin withdrawal from Council territory. Failure to comply will result in escalation. The Council's patience has limits. The Council's power does not, the message ended. Haijin finished her ramen while thinking about what she had just heard. She had received dozens of similar messages from other alien groups in the past year. Some wanted humanity to pay taxes. Others wanted them to worship certain space gods. A few demanded that humans stop eating meat because it offended their plant-based allies. She opened her computer and started typing a response message to Earth's Colonial Affairs Department. Hey everyone. Got another territorial dispute message. This one is from something called the Galaxy Council. They seem upset about our colonies in sectors 7 through 23. Standard procedure. Forward to legal department for review. Not urgent. By the way, does anyone know if the cafeteria is serving those good sandwiches today? Hi Jin, she sent the message and went back to her paperwork. On Earth, Captain Hyung-woo Park was having his weekly staff meeting. The small conference room had a view of the Pacific Ocean through large windows. Dr. So-Young Kim sat across from him, reading reports on her tablet. Any interesting news from space today? Hyung-woo asked. The usual, So-Young replied. 3 first contact requests, 2 trade proposals, and something about territorial violations. Oh, and the Martian colonies want more coffee shipped out there. Territorial violations? Hyun-woo asked. Who's complaining this time? Some group called the Galaxy Council. They say we're expanding into their space. So-Young scrolled through the message. They want us to stop or face their wrath? Hyun-woo thought about this for a moment. Did legal review it yet? They said it's the same as the other complaints. No clear legal basis under Earth law or the Colonial Charter. Just aliens claiming they own empty space? Okay, send them our standard response about territorial disputes going through proper legal channels. Hyun-woo looked out the window at the ocean. Speaking of channels, did you see that new documentary about whales, Amazing Creatures? The conversation moved on to other topics. 3 days later, diplomat Zethra received Earth's official response. She opened it expecting to find a desperate plea for mercy or at least a detailed explanation of human territorial claims. Instead, she found a short auto-generated message. Thank you for contacting Earth Colonial Affairs. Your message is important. To us, due to high volume, please expect a response within 30 to 45 business days. For urgent matters, please contact your local Earth embassy. For territorial disputes, please file Form 2847B with supporting documentation. Have a nice day? Zethra stared at the message for several minutes. She read it 3 times to make sure she understood correctly. Then she forwarded it to Supreme Chancellor Vextar with a note. Sir, I think we may have a problem. Back in the Galaxy Council chambers, Vextar read the human response while his advisors waited nervously around him. They sent us to customer service, he said slowly. War Master Quindo leaned forward. Perhaps they did not understand the seriousness of our message? Or perhaps, said another advisor, they do not fear us at all. The thought sent a chill through the entire council leadership. In 10,000 years of galactic rule, no species had ever responded to their warnings with such casual indifference. What kind of beings were these humans? Supreme Chancellor Vextar stood in the council's war room. The walls showed giant screens with star maps and fleet positions. His blue stripes had turned almost black with anger. 30 days, he said to his advisors. 30 days since we sent our warning, and the humans have not even bothered to respond properly. War Master Quindle, whose armor plates clinked when he moved, stepped forward. Supreme Chancellor, they have done worse than ignore us. They have expanded to 3 more worlds. Their colony ships continue to move through our territory like we do not exist. Diplomat Zethra checked her notes. Their legal department did send us a form to fill out. Form 2847B. It asks for proof of territorial ownership, historical claims documentation, and witness statements from neutral parties. Witness statements? Vextar's voice rose higher. We are the authority. We do not need witnesses. The form also requires a filing fee, Zethra added quietly. The silence in the war room was so complete that everyone could hear the humming of the computers. War Master Quindle's armor plates rattled as he shook with rage. Supreme Chancellor, they mock us? No species has ever treated the Council this way. We must show them our power. What do you suggest? Vextar asked. Protocol 7, demonstration of force. I will take the 2nd Fleet to the edge of human space. When they see our ships, they will understand their mistake. Vexstar thought about this. The Second Fleet had 300 warships. Each ship could destroy a planet. The sight of such power had made dozens of species surrender without a fight. Do it, Vexstar decided, but no attacks. Just show them what we can do, make them understand who they are dealing with. War Master Quindle smiled, showing sharp teeth. They will learn, Supreme Chancellor. 1 week later, Lieutenant Mi Young Choi was working the night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station. The station was built inside a large asteroid. Between Earth and Mars, Mi Young liked the quiet night shifts. She could catch up on her reading while watching the space traffic displays. Her computer started beeping rapidly. New contacts were appearing on the long-range sensors. Lots of new contacts. What the ... Mi Young leaned closer to her screen. The computer counted the ships. 50, 100, 200, 300. They were all moving in formation. Toward human space, she activated the communication array and sent a message to the lead ship. Unknown fleet, this is Earth Traffic Control. You are entering controlled space. Please state your destination and purpose. The answer came back immediately. It was War Master Quindle himself, standing on the bridge of his flagship. His armor gleamed under the ship's lights. Human vessel. I am War Master Quindle of the Galaxy Council Second Fleet. We come to demonstrate the power and might of the Council. You will witness our strength and understand your place in the galaxy. Mi Young looked at the dramatic alien on her screen. She had seen similar messages before from other alien groups. There was the Cosmic Empire last month and the Star-Lords the month before that. They all seemed to like giving speeches about power and strength. Okay, Mi Young said. But you're going to need traffic clearance. 300 ships is a lot. Let me connect you to Fleet Admiral Jin-Ho Lee. The communication switched to Admiral Lee's personal line. Mi Young could see him on another screen. He was sitting on the observation deck of Defense Station Alpha, with a fishing rod in his hands. A small bucket sat next to his chair. Admiral Lee here, he said without looking away from his fishing line. Sir, we have a Galaxy Council fleet at the border. They want to demonstrate their power to us. How many ships? Jin-Ho asked. 300, sir. Big ones. Jin-Ho nodded slowly. Are they blocking any shipping lanes? Mi Young checked her screens. Yes, sir. They're right across the main commercial road to the outer colonies. Then charge them the standard space lane disruption fee. Bill them for each day they stay there. Jin-Ho's fishing line moved slightly. Oh, and send them our safety regulations for large fleet operations. They'll need proper navigation lights and emergency beacons. Sir, Mi Young said carefully, they seem to think this is some kind of military demonstration. Should we do something? Jin-Ho finally looked at the camera. Like what? I don't know. Alert the fleet? Send ships to meet them? Why? Are they attacking anything? No, sir. They're just sitting there, making threatening speeches. Then let them sit. Just make sure they follow traffic laws. Jin-Ho turned back to his fishing. And if they want to park there for more than 24 hours, they need extended stay permits. For the next 3 days, War Master Quindle's fleet performed impressive military maneuvers at the edge of human space. The ships moved in perfect formations. They fired their weapons at empty asteroids, turning them to dust. They broadcast messages about the Council's power and humanity's foolishness. The humans' response was to route commercial traffic around the demonstration area and send the aliens a bill for 2.3 million credits in space lane fees on the second day. Dr. So Young Kim received the alien fleet's data from the monitoring stations. She was working in her lab at Seoul University, studying alien behavior patterns. The Galaxy Council fleet gave her a perfect research opportunity. She watched recordings of their maneuvers and analyzed their communication patterns. The aliens were clearly trying to intimidate humanity, but they were doing it wrong. Their displays were meant for species that scared easily. So Young started writing a new research paper, Threat Display Behaviors in Recently Contacted Species, a study of the Galaxy Council fleet demonstration. She sent copies of her work to universities across human space. Within hours, it was being shared on the Galactic Academic Network. Alien researchers found it fascinating. The paper described how different species used military displays to show dominance. It compared the Galaxy Council's methods to similar behaviors in Earth animals. So Young wrote about peacocks, showing their tail feathers and gorillas beating their chests. The paper became very popular among alien academics. Several professors requested permission to use it in their classes. Meanwhile, War Master Quindle was becoming frustrated. His impressive fleet demonstrations were being treated like a research project. Worse, some of his own officers were asking for copies of the human research paper. On the third day, he received another message from Earth Traffic Control. This time it was from a different human officer. Galaxy Council Fleet, this is Traffic. Control Officer Park J. Min, your extended stay permit has expired. Please either apply for renewal or move to a designated long-term parking area. The parking fee is 50 credits per ship per day. Quindle stared at the message. They want us to pay parking fees? His communications officer nodded. Sir, they also sent us a citation for operating without proper navigation lights during night cycles. A citation? It comes with a fine, sir. 200 credits. War Master Quindle had conquered 17 star systems. He had made entire civilizations surrender with fear. But he had never been given a parking ticket. He sent an angry message to Supreme Chancellor Vexstar. The humans are either completely insane or they do not understand what a military threat looks like. They are treating our war fleet like commercial shipping. What are your orders? Back on the Council homeworld, Vexstar read the message while his advisors waited nervously. They're charging our fleet parking fees? He said slowly. Perhaps, suggested one advisor. The humans have secret weapons we cannot detect. Or maybe, said another, they have powerful allies we do not know about. Vexstar looked at the reports from his intelligence division. They had been studying human space for weeks, looking for signs of hidden military strength. Instead, they found sports broadcasts, cooking shows, and videos of humans doing dangerous things for entertainment. I do not understand these beings, Vexstar admitted, but one thing is clear. Our normal methods are not working. The demonstration of power had failed completely. The humans had not surrendered, pleaded for mercy, or even seemed impressed. They had sent a bill. Supreme Chancellor Vexstar called an emergency meeting of the Council's inner circle. The most powerful alien leaders in the galaxy sat around a table made of crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Each leader looked worried. Fellow councilors, Vexstar began, our military demonstration has failed. The humans treated our war fleet like commercial shipping. They charged us parking fees. Council leader Morthak, a being with tentacles instead of arms, spoke first. Perhaps we were too gentle. The humans do not understand subtle shows of force. There was nothing subtle about 300 warships, War Master Quindle growled. They simply do not care about military threats. Then we must try something different, said another council member. Something that will hurt them where it matters most, Vexstar nodded. Protocol 12. Economic warfare. We will cut all trade with the humans. Any species that continues to trade with them will face our anger. The council members agreed. No civilization could survive without galactic trade. The humans would be forced to surrender when their economy collapsed. 3 days later, Engineer Woojin Nam was eating lunch in the Seoul Space Center cafeteria. His tablet beeped with a new message. The sender was listed as Galaxy Council Trade Division. Woojin opened the message while taking a bite of his sandwich. The message said, effective immediately, all trade between the Galaxy Council and human space is terminated. This embargo includes all goods, services, and technology transfers. Any species continuing trade with humans will face severe consequences. The Galaxy Council controls 89% of galactic commerce. Your economy will collapse without our trade. Woojin finished reading and forwarded the message to Earth's Trade Department with a note, FYI trade embargo from Galaxy Council. Might affect some imports, not urgent. Then he went back to eating his lunch. At the Trade Department, Director Kim Min-ho read the embargo notice during his afternoon coffee break. He checked Earth's trade records on his computer. The Galaxy Council species bought some human coffee and entertainment products. They sold Earth a few types of alien technology that human engineers were already copying in their labs. Min-ho calculated that the embargo would affect less than 3% of human trade. He sent a memo to all colonies. Galaxy Council trade embargo in effect. Use backup suppliers for affected items. Business as usual, but something unexpected happened. Within a week, several alien species secretly contacted Earth's trade offices. These aliens had not joined the embargo. They wanted to know more about any civilization that could ignore the Galaxy Council so completely. The Zilani Empire doubled their coffee orders. The fragmented world started buying human music and movies. 3 different species asked for meetings. About exclusive trade deals, a black market for human goods developed among Council species. Alien traders smuggled human coffee to Council worlds, selling it for huge profits. Human entertainment shows became popular underground viewing. Captain Hyun-woo Park attended a diplomatic party on a neutral space station. Alien ambassadors kept approaching him with nervous questions. "Captain Park," whispered the ambassador, "from the ringed worlds, what secret weapons does Earth possess?" "We don't have any secret weapons," Hyun-woo replied honestly. The ambassador looked confused. "Then surely you have powerful allies? Hidden fleets?" "No, nothing like that. But how can you ignore the Galaxy Council? They control most of the galaxy." Hyun-woo shrugged. "They seem nice enough. A bit dramatic, but most aliens are when you first meet them." The ambassador stared at him like he was insane. Similar conversations happened all over the party. Alien diplomats could not understand how humans remained so calm. They started developing theories about humanity's secret power back on the Council homeworld. Intelligence officers worked day and night trying to discover Earth's hidden strengths. They analyzed every human broadcast they could find. They found sports where humans hit each other for entertainment. They found videos of humans jumping out of perfectly good aircraft for fun. They found news reports about humans arguing with each other about everything. "Sir," one intelligence officer reported to Vexstar, "we have found something disturbing." "What is it?" Vexstar asked. "The humans appear to threaten themselves more than we threaten them. They have weapons that could destroy their own planet. They use them to threaten each other in something called politics." Vexstar looked at the reports. Humans had nuclear weapons, climate change, economic crashes, and social media. They lived with constant threats to their own existence. "How do they survive?" he asked. "We do not know, sir. But they seem to consider all of this normal." The Galaxy Council had reached the end of their patience. Supreme Chancellor Vexstar stood before the full assembly of 847 species. His 4 arms spread wide as he spoke. "Fellow beings," he said, "we have tried warnings, we have tried shows of force, we have tried economic pressure. The humans ignore everything we do." The alien representatives made sounds of agreement. Some clicked, others buzzed, and a few made low moaning noises. "Therefore," Vexstar continued, "I authorized the final protocol, total war. The humans have 1 galactic standard month to surrender completely or face annihilation." War Master Quindal stepped forward. "Supreme Chancellor, the war fleets are ready. We have assembled the largest military force in galactic history. 2,000 ships. Enough firepower to crack planets. Send them the ultimatum," Vexstar ordered. "Make it clear that this is their last chance." The ultimatum was 10 pages long. It listed every human violation of galactic order. It described the Council's military power in detail. It included pictures of destroyed worlds and conquered civilizations. The message ended with, "You have 30 standard days to surrender unconditionally. Failure to comply will result in the complete destruction of human civilization. This is your final warning." The ultimatum reached Earth on a busy Tuesday morning. Ambassador Haijin Song was stuck in a 3-hour meeting about space station maintenance schedules. Her assistant, a young intern named Li Dongwu, sorted through the incoming messages. Dong-Wu saw the ultimatum in the message queue. It was marked Urgent Final Warning with red priority flags. But Dongwu was new to the job. He had seen dozens of final warnings from various alien groups in his first week. He put the ultimatum in the Cosmic Threats folder along with warnings from energy beings, robot uprisings, time travelers, and an angry gas cloud that demanded humans stop using helium balloons. I'll get to this later, Dongwu thought, and went back to organizing trade reports. Dr. So-Young Kim was working late in her laboratory. When she finally saw the ultimatum 3 days later, she read through the Galaxy Council's threat assessment and military data using her computer. She calculated that the Council really could destroy human civilization. Their weapons were powerful enough. Their fleet was large enough. She walked down the hall to Captain Hyun-Woo Park's office. He was reading reports while drinking coffee. Han-Woo, she said, I analyzed that Galaxy Council ultimatum. They could actually destroy us. Double quotes. Hyun-Woo looked up from his papers. Really? That's more serious than usual. Aren't you worried? So young. Asked. Hyun-Woo thought about it for a moment. Should I be? We've survived ice ages, plagues, nuclear weapons, climate change, and reality TV shows. What's one more existential threat? But this is different. This is aliens with planet-killing weapons. So were nuclear weapons, Hyun-Woo pointed out. We survived those by not using them. Maybe the aliens are the same way. So Young sat down in the chair across from his desk. You're not taking this seriously. I'm taking it exactly as seriously as it deserves, Hyun-Woo replied. Want some coffee? It's the good stuff from the Colombian colonies. Word of humanity's casual response spread through the galactic intelligence networks. On the Council homeworld, Vexstar received reports that made his stripes turn pale blue with shock. They filed our ultimatum? He asked. Yes, Supreme Chancellor. Under cosmic threats, along with various other warnings. What other warnings? The intelligence officer checked his notes. Time travelers, energy beings, robot uprisings, and something called the Karen incident from last month. Vexstar did not know what a Karen was, but it sounded dangerous. Several Council member species began having second thoughts about the war. If humans were this calm about facing annihilation, what did they know that the Council did not? The Council war fleet arrived at Earth's solar system like a dark cloud of metal and death. 2,000 ships spread across space in perfect battle formations. Each ship bristled with weapons that could melt continents, Admiral Morgeth commanded. The fleet from his flagship, a massive vessel longer than a small moon. He expected to find Earth's space filled with desperate evacuation ships and panicked military vessels. Instead, he found normal space traffic. Cargo ships moved between Earth and Mars carrying supplies. Passenger liners traveled to the outer colonies with tourists. Construction ships worked on a new space station near Jupiter. Admiral, his communications officer reported, Earth traffic control is asking for our destination and parking requirements. Parking requirements? Morgeth stared at his officer. Yes, sir. They want to know if we need short-term or extended stay accommodations. They're recommending the long-term orbital parking area near asteroid field Delta 7, Morgeth had conquered. 43 star systems. He had made entire civilizations tremble with fear, but no one had ever asked him about parking. Tell them we are here to conquer their world, he said. The traffic controller's response came back quickly. Okay, but you still need to file a destination plan. Military operations require Form 8834C. You can download it from our public database. Earth's Defense Station Alpha, Admiral Jinho Lee, was finally finished with his fishing trip. He had caught 3 space fish and a small asteroid crab. His aide brought him reports about the alien fleet. 2,000 ships, sir, the aide said. They're armed for planetary bombardment? Jinho looked at the tactical displays. The alien fleet was impressive. Their weapons could indeed destroy Earth cities. Have they made any demands? He asked. Not yet, sir. They seem confused by our traffic control procedures. Well, invite their commander for dinner, Jinho said. Maybe we can work this out over Korean barbecue? Sir, they're here to destroy us. Says who? They might just be lost. Besides, you can't have a proper war on an empty stomach. The invitation was sent to Admiral Morgeth, who spent 20 minutes staring at it. The humans wanted to have dinner with him during an invasion that he was leading. Against them, his tactical officers waited for orders to begin the attack. But Morgeth found himself curious about these strange beings who invited their enemies to dinner. Meanwhile, Dr. So-young Kim published another research paper, Pre-Conquest Behavioral Patterns, a study of species that don't panic. She used the current situation as a case study. The paper became required reading at military academies across the galaxy. Even some of the Council's own officers were reading it while preparing for battle. Captain Hyun-woo Park called a staff meeting to discuss the situation. The meeting room had a view of space, where the alien fleet hung like a cloud of metal stars. So, Hyun-woo said, we have 2,000 alien warships outside our door. Anyone have thoughts? Engineer Woo Jin-nam raised his hand. Should we mention that our defense systems are actually pretty good? Are they? Asked Dr. So-young Kim. Oh yes, we've been upgrading them for months. Orbital defense platforms, energy, shields, automated response systems. Standard defensive preparations. Why didn't anyone tell the aliens? So-young asked. Woo-jin shrugged. They never asked. On the Council flagship, Admiral Morgeth was receiving disturbing reports from his scout ships. Sir, the humans have extensive defensive installations. Energy weapons, shield generators, missile platforms. Much more advanced than our intelligence suggested. How much more advanced? Sir, they might actually be able to fight us. Morgeth looked out at the peaceful-looking Earth. Somehow the humans had built serious defenses while treating galactic threats like paperwork problems. What kind of species were they dealing with? Supreme Chancellor Vexstar appeared on Admiral Morgeth's main screen. His blue stripes showed extreme stress. Admiral, why have you not begun the attack? Vexstar demanded. Supreme Chancellor, the situation is ... complicated. How is it complicated? You have 2,000 ships. They have one planet. Sir, they invited me to dinner. The silence on the communication channel lasted for 30 seconds. They what? Vexstar finally asked. They want to discuss the situation over something called Korean barbecue. Their Admiral Jinho Lee seems to think we can work things out. You are there to destroy them, not eat with them. Yes, sir, but ... Morgeth paused. Sir, what exactly happens after we destroy them? Vexstar blinked all four of his eyes. We bring order to the galaxy, but specifically what happens to their space? Their trade routes? Their cultural contributions? The question caught Vexstar off guard. The Council's expansion model always assumed conquered species would join them as productive members. Complete destruction left nothing to govern. Admiral, just begin the attack. Sir, requesting permission to speak with the human leadership first. For intelligence gathering purposes? Before Vexstar could respond, another screen activated. Captain Hyun-woo Park appeared, sitting in what looked like a break room. He was drinking coffee and eating something from a small package. Supreme. Chancellor Vexstar, I assume? Hyun-woo said politely. I'm Captain Park. We've been trying to reach you. You wanted to speak with me? Vexstar asked. Of course, we're always interested in diplomatic solutions. Hyun-woo took a sip of coffee. Your ultimatum was quite impressive, by the way. Very thorough. Then you understand the seriousness of your situation? Oh, yes. Complete annihilation, destruction of human civilization, conquest of our worlds. We get similar threats every few months. Vexstar's stripes went pale. You get similar threats? From various groups? Space empires, cosmic entities, robot civilizations? It's surprisingly common. Hyun-woo opened his snack package. Want to hear something interesting? Most of them never follow through. Dr. So-young Kim joined the conversation from her laboratory. Charts and graphs floated on screens behind her. Captain Park is right, Supreme Chancellor. We've analyzed the patterns. Species that make threats like yours are usually more interested in submission than destruction. Dr. Kim specializes in xenopsychology, Hyun Woo explained. She's written several papers about galactic threat behavior. So Young activated one of her displays. Supreme Chancellor, may I ask why you want to destroy humanity? You violated our territorial boundaries. You ignored our warnings. But why does that require destruction? Why not negotiation or legal proceedings? Vexstar found himself thinking about the question, because the Council maintains order through strength. Interesting, So Young said, making notes. And what happens to galactic order if you destroy an entire civilization for territorial disputes? The other species learn to obey us. Or, So Young suggested, they learn that the Council destroys species instead of governing them. How does that help galactic civilization? Engineer Woo Jin Nam joined the conversation from his workshop. Behind him, holographic displays showed technical readouts. Supreme Chancellor, we've been curious about something. Your intelligence. Reports on our defensive capabilities. What about them? They're about 6 months out of date. We've upgraded significantly since then, Woo Jin gestured to his displays. Orbital defense platforms, energy shields, quantum jammers. Pretty standard stuff. You have quantum jammers? Oh, yes. And plasma cannons, gravity wells, automated defense drones. We mentioned all this in our public safety reports, but no one seemed interested. Admiral Mordrith leaned toward his screen. Why didn't you mention these defenses when we threatened you? You never asked, Woo Jin replied simply. Captain Hyun Woo Park finished his coffee and looked directly at Supreme Chancellor Vexstar. Supreme Chancellor, we're not ignoring your threats because we're arrogant. We're not dismissing them because we think you're weak. We're treating them like any other problem because that's how humans handle threats. I do not understand. Dr. So Young Kim pulled up historical data on her screens. Supreme Chancellor, humans have faced extinction dozens of times. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues, nuclear weapons, climate change. We've threatened ourselves more than any outside force ever could. How do you survive? By not panicking, Hyun Woo said. By treating each crisis as a problem to solve instead of a reason to despair, by working together instead of falling apart. So Young added, we've learned that most threats can be resolved through communication and cooperation. Even the ones that look impossible at first. Supreme Chancellor Vexstar stared at the screens showing the 3 humans. They weren't mocking the Council's power. They weren't dismissing galactic authority. They were simply treating the situation like any other diplomatic problem. You really aren't afraid of us, he realized. Should we be? Hyun Woo asked. You seem reasonable. Your people are intelligent. Your technology is impressive. Those are qualities for alliance, not war. But we threaten to destroy you. Lots of people have threatened to destroy us. Most of them are good friends now. The conversation continued for another hour. Slowly, Supreme Chancellor Vexstar began to understand that humanity's response wasn't based on hidden weapons or secret allies. It was based on experience with existential threats and a practical approach to problem solving. The Galaxy Council had tried to intimidate a species that intimidated itself on a regular basis. 3 weeks later, the Council signed a formal peace treaty with humanity. The treaty established proper diplomatic channels, trade agreements, and territorial boundaries. Ambassador Haijin Song finally got around to reading the original ultimatum while organizing her files. She found it in a folder labeled Historical Documents, Interesting Threats. She read through the 10-page document and made a note in her log, Galaxy Council, resolved peacefully. Nice people once you get to know them. Recommend Korean barbecue for future diplomatic dinners. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Some species couldn't be threatened because they had already survived everything the universe could throw at them. And some threats were really just requests for friendship that nobody knew how to ask for properly.